Hello, everyone. This is Attorney Edgar Pasqua, your companion to your study of political law. Specifically, our area of concern now is the branch of political law, which is election law. For context, you might be interested in viewing the first part one of this lecture series, which has already been uploaded. This is now part two, the second video of the series leading towards our better understanding of the laws relating to elections. Today, for this video, we shall talk about the Commission on Elections or the COMELEC. This is the um, among the three constitutional commissions established by Article 9 of our Philippine Constitution. The Philippine Constitution says that the constitutional commissions, which shall be independent, are the Civil Service Commission, the Commission on Elections, and the Commission on Audit. Though we have to understand that the Philippine Constitution has several commissions mentioned in the fundamental law. For example, we have the Commission on Human Rights. We also have the so-called the Commission on Appointments, which is a congressional an entity of Congress. We also have the Ombudsman that partakes the nature and status of the regular constitutional commissions. But for our focus here for election laws, we shall specifically give attention to the Commission on Elections, which is among the three independent constitutional commissions as created by our Philippine Constitution. So, the Constitutional Commission, which is the COMELEC, is composed of a commissioner or a chairman and six commissioners. This is the core body, the core composition of the COMELEC, which is responsible for policy making, for the exercise of its apparently parang executive function, no? Sometimes quasi-judicial and also quasi-legislative, no? But this is the core, the composition of the core body or of the Commission on Elections. They may sit en banc or in divisions. No? So, how do you qualify to be a COMELEC member? No, you must be natural born. Filipino, no? Natural born. This is among the specific offices which the law requires you to be natural born. This uh, is alongside the office of the president, the vice president, the ombudsman, members of the judiciary, no, of the Supreme Court, na collegial bodies, no. At least, sorry, at the time of their appointment, at least 35 years old, fairly young, no, and not too young. Holders of college degrees, that's the minimum requirement, and must not have been candidates for any elective positions in the immediately preceding election. As for the composition as to the attainment, the specific academic degree, the majority thereof, including the chairperson, shall be members of the Philippine Bar, meaning lawyers who have been engaged in the practice of law for 10 years. So there's this case, if you are familiar with this case, Cayetano versus Monsod, where Cayetano questioned the appointment of Monsod um, in the Constitutional Commission. But well, yung the main focus here is on the qualification of Monsod as a practitioner of law, because while Monsod was a member of the bar, his practice was limited to non-litigation or non-judicial functions. So, is he doing practice of law? This is a landmark case where the Supreme Court said practice of law means any activity in or out of court which requires the application of law, legal procedure, knowledge, training, and experience. To engage in the practice of law is to perform those acts which are characteristics of the profession. Generally, to practice law is to give notice or render any kind of service which device or service requires the use of any degree of legal knowledge or skill. So this clearly defines what practice of law here Now, in the Philippines, it is not only limited to litigation or courtroom experience. Even if you are acting on a consultative arrangement, for as long as you give uh, you make use of your legal expertise, your legal knowledge and skills, then that is considered to be a practice of law. You also find this relevant for legal profession and legal ethics. Now, the Commission on Election, well, it's independent. It's independent. The Constitution specifically mentions and describes it to be independent. You have to consider that yung kanyang function ay quasi-judicial, quasi-legislative because it has its rule-making power, quasi-judicial because it adjudicates. But if you look at it, many would describe it to have a function that is akin to the executive department. However, the Supreme Court clarified that although their respective functions are essentially executive in nature, they are not under the control of the president, though they also function. It also functions to provide for guidelines and issuances. It is not under the control or review powers of the Congress. Specifically, also, most especially with the court, though it exercises quasi-judicial powers, it is not part of the judiciary, though its rulings, its decisions may be subject to review on certiorari by the Supreme Court for specific qualified instances. No, so to guarantee its independence, the Constitution provides certain safeguards to such autonomy of the COMELEC to take it away from the clutches of political influence. No? For most, the COMELEC is constitutionally created and thus cannot be abolished by statute. It's created by the fundamental law, and there is no way for any statute or any policy to set it aside except by a constitutional amendment or revision. Other than that, the COMELEC remains as existing for as long as our constitution exists. According to Bernas, in the deliberations of the President Constitutions, there was no intention for um, the COMELEC or the other constitutional commissions to be created by law. That's why it has been embedded in the new constitution, the 87 constitution specifically, in the fundamental law itself. Because if the COMELEC is subject to legislation, then it can be within the reach of political tentacles. So the purpose of embedding it in the constitution is to protect it from political influence primarily. Okay? Especially that our nation is highly political in character. The COMELEC is expressly described in the Constitution to be independent. You see it in the Constitution in Section 1, Article 9A, the constitutional commissions, including the COMELEC, as independent. It's explicitly mentioned in the law. So the Constitution clearly, categorically categorizes or describes the COMELEC alongside with the other two commissions as independent. The COMELEC is conferred with certain powers and functions which cannot be reduced by statute kasama doon sa pagtatag sa kanya sa ating konstitusyon, sa saligang batas, as a constitutionally created body are the narration or enumeration of its functions. Because these functions are created and narrated by the fundamental law itself, no statute can diminish it, no statute can amend or repeal it. So only by constitutional amendment and revision again can there be a change in the extent of powers of the COMELEC. Other than that, the Constitution is strong. No? In no case shall any member of the COMELEC be appointed in or designated in a temporary or acting capacity. Why? Because simply if the member of the COMELEC is in a temporary or acting capacity, then he will be at the mercy of the appointing authority. This case of Brillantes versus Yorak where Yorac's appointment was questioned, was um, appointment by Cory Aquino to the COMELEC was questioned because the appointment was only in an acting capacity. According to the Supreme Court, a designation as an acting chairman is, by its very terms, is essentially temporary and therefore revocable at will. No cause need be established to justify its revocation. The Constitution provides many safeguards for the independence of the Commission on Elections, foremost among which is the security of tenure of the members. That guarantee is not available to the respondent as acting chairman. Kasi kapag ikaw ay in an acting capacity lang, you could be removed at the whim and caprice of the appointing authority, no matter the guarantee that she will not meddle with the affairs of the commission. But you can be controlled because of the temporary character of your appointment. The chairman and the members cannot be removed except by impeachment, similar to the president, the vice president, the justice of the Supreme Court, ombudsman. You may only be removed by impeachment. Okay, the members of the COMELEC may be removed from office on impeachment for and conviction of the culpable violation of the Constitution, treason, bribery, graft, and corruption, and other high crimes or betrayal of public trust. So specific grounds as provided for by law. You can go back to your lecture on constitutional law on the process and the grounds for impeachment. No? The chairman and the members are given a fairly long term of 7 years. What's the significance of the number? 7 years means that they could outlive a sitting president. No, so they have 7 years. It's the longest. It's a very long term. No, um, their terms are staggered. Actually, they the composition at no time shall the composition of the COMELEC be of those who are appointed by the same administration, because it began during the first appointment. Sabi nga sa Constitution, or as required by the Constitution, of those first appointed, 3 members, di ba? 6 members plus 1 commissioner. 3 members shall hold office for 7 years. Dalawa for 5 years. And other members, the remaining members, for 3 years without a reappointment. No? In fact, kung may mag-resign sa kanila or by some unfortunate instance na may namatay, hindi na disrupt yung staggered terms, because those who will be appointed will only serve for the unexpired period. Ano ang kahalagahan nito, by the way? If you look at it, since their initial terms of those first appointed are staggered, those serving after them will serve the full term of the 7 years. So, kasi staggered ang term ng kanilang appointment, hindi naman yung first appointees similar yung kanilang terms of service. Those who will serve next will be 7 years. So, their terms will not expire na sabay-sabay na. No? So, of the first, of course, may 3 years lang, may 5 years, may 7 years. So, hindi equal. But those subsequently appointed will serve for the 7 full years. So, since iba-iba yung kanilang beginning ng kanilang term for those succeedingly appointed, their terms will also end on a staggered basis. No? So, what's the rationale for the staggered terms? It's to prevent one person from dominating the commission. Again, there is no point that in any time that the members of the commission come from an appointment by the same administration, because in fact, all of them can outlive the term of a president. It has been declared too that the rotational plans ensures continuity in, and as indicated earlier, secure the independence of the commission as a body. Okay? That's why some presidents are not too friendly to sitting commissioners, because hindi naman lahat yan ay tao nila. No? Using that sanggano na expression, hindi nila tao yan. They may have been appointed by a nemesis na previous president. No? Next is the chairman and the members may not be reappointed. So they only have that 7-year term without reappointment. So it's they should the position is not a gift to be given to an appointee perpetually, no? 7 years lang, no reappointment. Hanggang dyan ka na lang. So do the most that you can for the 7-year period. No reappointments are allowed, and they are appointed by the president with the consent of the commission on appointments, no? Napakaraming safety nets on the appointment. The salaries of the chairperson and the members are relatively high and may not be decreased during their continuance in office. I do not know if this is really um, true, but I mean, it's true. But I mean, the value of money depends from one person or another. But honestly, yung kanilang salary are fairly high. The Constitution provided for the initial salaries. However, those subsequent increases may be by virtue of law. No? Okay. Their salaries cannot be decreased. It can only be increased, no, to provide a safeguard against harassment for the by reason of the decrease of their pay, no. But look at their salaries. I don't know if this is accurate, but this is what I got so far. These are the salaries of the chairperson and the members, 6 digits. Some would say those that they earn in a month, many earn in an entire year, no. Among others, they also have to enjoy, they are given the opportunity to enjoy the other benefits of being in public service. They enjoy fiscal autonomy. Of course, fiscal autonomy allows them financial independence, and that's the independence of the purse. Independence of the purse. No? So the characteristics of fiscal autonomy is that once the budget or appropriations in the General Appropriations Act are approved, automatically it's released to them. No further requirements are essential for the release. That the money will just have to be released to them, to the COMELEC. No budget cuts, meaning essentially the budget for this year, as much as possible, cannot be lesser than the budget from last year. And they have the freedom to reallocate their sources of funds, no, without fear of malversation, because they have the discernment, the power to reallocate what has been supposedly determined for a particular item for their budget. The case of Gonzalez versus Office of the President says that the constitutional commissions must have the independence and flexibility needed in the discharge of their constitutional duties. The imposition of restrictions and constraints on the manner the independent constitutional offices allocate and utilize their funds appropriated for their operation is anathema to fiscal autonomy and is violative of their independence, no? Which is mandated by the Constitution. The COMELEC may promulgate its own rules, its procedural rules, provided that they do not decrease or that they do not diminish, increase, or modify substantive rights. So rules of procedure, they have this quasi-legislative power to determine their rules. No, this case of Makalintal versus COMELEC, where the Supreme Court said that the court where the court considered even the mere review of the rules of the Commission on Election as ano na siya, pangingialam, trampling of the constitutional mandate of independence of this body. So meaning not even the Congress can review the rules of the commission, the Constitutional Commission, specifically the COMELEC. Read this case of Makalintal versus COMELEC. The chairman and the members are subject to certain disqualifications calculated to strengthen their integrity. And they include the prohibition against holding other offices or employment, engaging in the practice of their profession. Financial interests also are prohibited. Read Article 9, A. No? Further, the president can be precluded from appointing spouse or relatives to the Commission on Election. This is against nepotism, no, or dynasty. The COMELEC may appoint its own officials and employees in accordance with the civil service law. Like the courts of justice, They have the power to appoint their own people, no, subject to their own determination of their qualifications. So the general functions of the COMELEC, you go over the law, the principal agency tasked with by the Constitution to enforce and administer election laws. That's the primary function. It also exercises judicial, regulatory, and administrative powers, and also recommendatory and prosecutorial powers. The constitutional functions and powers are also narrated in the law itself. Enforcement and administration of all laws and regulations relating to elections, exercise exclusive original jurisdiction over all contests relating to elections, returns, and qualifications of all elective regional, provincial, and city officials. Um, uh, it can make decisions which or give final orders or rulings um, which are subject to certain procedural parameters. Okay, this decide except those involving the right to vote, all questions affecting elections, including the determination of the number and location of polling places, etc. Deputize people, no, to serve during elections. Register after sufficient publication political parties, organizations, or coalitions, and also um, monitor um, financial contributions. Okay. It can also file upon a verified complaint on its own or by another, no, a complainant, petitions in court for inclusion or exclusion of voters. Make recommendations to Congress, no, to minimize election spending and other necessary ano objectives, no. Recommend to the president the removal of any officer or employee it deputized, okay, and so on, no. Statutory powers of the COMELEC include the following: power to declare a failure of elections. They have exclusive regional jurisdiction over pre-pro controversies. They issue writs, may summon parties, punish contempt, promulgate rules and regulations implementing the election code, and so on, no? Okay. So part of the recommendatory powers of the COMELEC is on its recommendation on the pardoning powers of the president. Because according to the Constitution, no pardon, amnesty, or parole or suspension of sentence for violation of election law, rules, and regulations shall be granted by the president without a favorable recommendation of the commission, no? Um, so not for election cases unless approved or recommended by the COMELEC, no, for election cases. The COMELEC procedure, um, again, it on the matters of procedure, COMELEC has the rule-making power, and the COMELEC's judgment cannot be overturned by the court unless it is clearly tainted with grave abuse of discretion. I mean, part of um, the review powers of the court. But generally, the courts will not interfere with the decisions of the court unless there is a grave abuse of discretion. Um, each commission shall decide by a majority vote of all its members any case or matters brought before it within 60 days from the date of its submission for decision or resolution. There's a deadline kasama sa right to the speedy trial, which is this is also part of due process. A case or matter is deemed submitted for decision or resolution upon filing of the last pleading brief or memorandum required by the rules of the commission. So these are procedural matters that you have to be very familiar with, no? Um, any decision, order, or ruling of each commission kasama ang COMELEC may be brought to the Supreme Court on certiorari. Grave abuse of discretion pa rin. Manner of sitting, again, the COMELEC may sit and bank or in two divisions. All such election cases shall be heard and decided in a division provided that motion for reconsideration of decision shall be decided by the commission and bank. So the only way for a full understanding of this course is also to make your own readings. It's important for us to understand the rules and the roles of the COMELEC for us to best understand the matter of election law. So this is the second video. I will upload soon the third video. Thank you for viewing.